Hello, it's me, Zoti from the Light Collective. And on this episode of the Light Collective, we have returning Mr. Delahnnovahh Starr Livingstone talking about the radionic ships of the heavenly host. Enjoy. The Light Collective, the Light Collective, the Light. Two. And welcome back. How good it is to see you all again. We have with us again Mr. Delahnnovahh Starr Livingstone of Universa to discuss an interesting hot topic, what's going on in the skies. Except he is going to discuss something you may have never heard of, and that is the radionic ships of the heavenly hosts. How you doing, sir? Good to see you
Well,
again.
doing fine. So,
Good. Don't mind the
so
sir. It's a habit. Okay.
yeah.
Sometimes people get it, they people are like, don't sir, don't ma'am me.
Hmm.
I'm like it's just a habit. But it's good to see you again.
Yep. Same. Good to see you again. When you want me to launch, just let me know.
Yeah, so we are going to go straight in. We have a lot of things going on in our skies, as we discussed a little bit about in the last episode. There's a ton of things going on in the skies. But I think that you, in one of your books titled The Radionic Ship of the Heavenly Host, go into one of those things that people may have never heard of before, or may not even been known is even there. So could you go in a little bit, well, a little bit or a lot of bit, about what the radionic ships of the heavenly hosts are?
Well, the long and short of the radionic ships of the heavenly hosts have been around since biblical days. It refers to the heavenly hosts all the way through. Well, this is the heavenly hosts they're referring to, not angels sitting on clouds plucking harps. And by the same token, the radionic ships, I'll explain in a minute, produce radionic clouds. And those are the clouds that the Bible talks about all the way through, up from a cloud, down from a cloud. We're up in a cloud waiting for you, all that kind of stuff. These are the clouds they're talking about. There's the issue of UFOs is confusing to a lot of people because there's actually two types. The first type is there are we call them tin pots. There are about 1,000 of them around Earth. They're from the lower fifth dimension around this Orion, solar sector, the Orion that you can see in the sky, because that's where the headquarters are for this solar sector. And they project from the lower fifth dimension into the third dimension, and you can see them. A baseball would bounce off them. They're solid. They come and go, but they're actually solid. There's only 1,000 of them. They're the bad guys. Now, when I say they're the bad guys, not all of them are malevolent bad, but some of them are actually here trying to do good, like some of the Pleiadians and some Arcturians and so on. But they're not in the loop, and they don't know the whole picture. So what they do has to be undone by those in the picture. You know, those in the picture comprise the exact opposite, which is called the radionic ships of the heavenly host. The heavenly host is from all over creation, not just this local area. There's over 500,000,000 a day around Earth every day. They're from the higher fifth dimension and project down into Earth's fourth dimension. So you can't see them by eye, but they're called radionic because they have they work by magnetic fields. And the magnetic fields ionize the water vapor, in the atmosphere, which because they're ionic, they're subject to magnetic influences, and they condense along the lines, magnetic lines of the ship, and form what are called radionic clouds. And you can see those, and that's their signature because nature can't make clouds like that, and they're very characteristic. No matter whether they're mothership, fathership, scout ships, or what they always have the same fact. The lines on this is a cloud up in the sky. It looks like the outstretched hand of outstretched fingers of a hand. The ones on the left go to the left, the ones on the right go to the right, and the ones lines up the middle go up the middle. And they're always all the same. The motherships and fatherships are very long and horizontal, but they still go out the left, right, and up the middle. The anchor ships, or the ships that are putting up the magnetic fields for the others to run around in, are vertical, but it's the same thing. The lines go up on the left, go up on the right, and up in the middle. The heavenly host, like I said, are from all over creation. There, there's a vast fleet of the ships outside of the orbit of, in the Oort cloud outside the orbit of Pluto. The four main motherships of the fleet are what the Bible has called the four horsemen of the apocalypse. But from there, they project down into Earth's fourth dimension. Um, and as I say, there's over 500 million of those every day. Uh, and again, they're not visible by eye. They're the good guys, as I say, they're the good guys. They're the ones that have been talked about in the Bible and so on. Um, I'm trying to, I've talked about this so many times, like you can't get at it, what's going on right now. I've mentioned in the last time we talked is that we are in the cleanup in the aftermath of the Luciferian self-world rebellion of what's called the cosmic overplus. That was 5 billion years ago, and it was run on its own until 2,000 years ago. Christ put an end to it on the mount when he said, "Satan, get thee behind me," which was not what he really said, because that went out over to 1,000 galaxies. See, the Luciferian effect only affected 1,000 galaxies because it relied on this cosmic overplus frequency, and it only exists in this local universe, so it couldn't go beyond it. But anyway, he put an end to it 2,000 years ago, and we are now in the cleanup in the aftermath of that, which is called Armageddon. And we're well along in Armageddon. The result of the rebellion was that there was 2,500 planets like Earth that ended up with a population in the third dimension. The bottom line of creation is, oh, my camera slid down on me. There we go. The bottom line of creation is the fifth dimension. That's where everything starts and da. And the third and fourth dimension are like the boiler room, the furnace room where the furnace and the hot water heater and stuff are. But Lucifer had figured out a way to get population down into the third dimension on the basis that it would speed things up, in the evolutionary process. Because you're now living in the third dimension that we're in right now is a triune existence, very coarse, very rough, but it's a third dimension. The seventh dimension, which is where the evolution would be normally headed, is also triune. So he said if they live for a while in the third dimension, they'll climatize to the seventh dimension faster. That was his plan. And he pitched it to the Galactic Council 5 billion years ago, and they said it's a good idea in the short term, but it would conflict to energies in the pipe that would be coming along down the road. So we have to refute it. Well, he's full of pride was he said, well, these bozos are too stupid to understand my plan. So he went ahead and did it anyway. And that
Right.
was why it's now called Luciferian Rebellion.
Right. Just so the people, this is not a beer or anything. This is kombucha. It's a love kombucha. Okay. Just don't want the people to think I'm over here drinking a beer while you're talking to me. I don't drink alcohol.
So if
Lowers
you
your
fall over
frequency,
drunk,
folks.
then we'll know why.
Yeah, no, it lowers your frequency. I'll do wine every now and again if it's worth it. But other than that, no, not anymore. But anyway, so I, so when it comes down to the radionic ships of the heavenly hosts, is this something that the people could go outside and look up and see at any time, or is this something or is there a particular season that they pop up? Do they
No,
come
no, no,
around
no, no.
particular environments?
No, no, they're everywhere, all the time, everywhere, at any time. They can be here today and overhead your city or overhead your house and not there later, or they could stay there for 2 or 3 days at a time. I mean, it's very, very, there's many different kind of ships, and everyone produces their own particular radionic cloud. Um, and as you say, it's not like it's not like they're only in Europe or they're only in North America. They're everywhere, all around the world. I've got pretty close to 10,000 photos in the book Radionic Ships of the Heavenly Hosts. I have 450, uh, but they're from all around the world at any given time. This is they're it's a coverage. It's not select. Um,
So you say that the beings or the energies that
Well,
are
they're people. They're not energies. They're people like you and me. There's no.
so
If you were in a radionic ship, you'd look exactly like you do right now. To me, in a radionic ship.
okay.
Yeah.
So they're there in their ships doing what? What's the purpose?
Well, as I say, we're in the cleanup and the aftermath, and one of the problems that when the Luciferian rebellion was running amok, it was generating what's called N plus static energy. When cotton and silk are rubbed together, you get static electricity. Well, when consciousness is not working in harmony with the laws of creation, a static is produced called N plus static. And that's the totality of what we call evil. This negative N plus static. Um, there's no such thing as evil in the higher dimensions. It's only down here. What we call evil, it's an accumulation of this N plus static, which is, it's a negative, very unpleasant static. And it's in clumps all over the place, it gathers into clumps. It was N plus static like that caused Maldek to blow up 2.5 billion years ago. And it was the same kind of N plus static that built up over Sodom and Gomorrah during Atlantis and caused it to blow up, because this stuff is like dynamite. So Earth right now, as we speak, has pockets of this N plus static all over the place. And one of the things they're doing is dissolving those pockets. But at the same time, too, see, mankind's consciousness is being raised up rapidly because of the fact we're in Aquarius. And every 25,000 years during Aquarius, the Great Book it's called the Great Book. The Great Book is open, which is, the full revelation of cosmic law, how all of the dimensions work higher above, how consciousness works, how the whole show. And the, oh, excuse me. And when the radionic ships are in close proximity to people with higher consciousness, they can, teleport or not teleport, but telecommunicate. Most of the people don't know what's happening. This is not channeling. Channeling is, bozos talking to bozos. I guess is the best way to put it. But anyway, they influence your thoughts to do things that are positive to help clean up the mess. I mean, small things, you don't realize it, but just, straighten up your thought a wee bit because that helps. So the fact that because of the uh, great book being open now and everybody's consciousness going up, uh, there's more and more people coming online whose consciousness is high enough that they can connect with it. So that's one of the main reasons that the cleanup is undergoing. That there was 2,500 planets in all in that were affected with the third dimension, like Earth and the Luciferian rebellion stuff. And Earth is the first of the 2,500 to get the Lysol treatment. In other words, it's being, over the next 2,000 years, it's being scrubbed clean. And so the heavenly hosts that are here are helping clean up that whole big body of negative static that is still around Earth, among other things. I mean, Earth has a big role to play 250,000 years from now. It's going to be teleported to the womb of Orion and going to become a protostar. Like a son becomes, a father. Well, a planet becomes a star. It's the same thing, as above, so below. It's really neat. So Earth is going to be teleported, but it has to be absolutely totally free of any of these negative vibrations first. So that's the big job that's undergoing right now, is to get it ready to start that transmigration, frequency. So it's ready 250. See, the Luciferian rebellion put a stall on a whole pile of things going on. So they're all being brought up the line now. Um, the the people that are in the third dimension now, like on Earth, uh, at the end of Aquarius, 2,000 years from now, they're all going to be back in the fifth dimension. There won't be anything on the third dimension here at all. But then there are 2,500 roughly other planets that have to have the same thing happen, but Earth's the first. That's why everything's here right now, because we're the beta test. And what I mean by beta test, they'll try things that'll work, and uh, they'll be used upstairs to the other planets. If it doesn't work, don't see. Uh, Tesla brought through the laws of radiation, free energy and all that kind of stuff, but it got misused by man and up into, the atomic bomb and so on. So it's not going up. That was a beta test that failed. The internet that's going on now was given to man as a um, tool to work with, to work in harmony with each other. In the absence of telecommunication, because the conscious is just starting to come up into that level of being able to do that. But till then, they weren't able to you weren't able to teleport, telecommunicate with each other. So the internet was set up as a means of people communicating to each other all around the world. So far, very successful. So
What
there's
are
a
your
beta test.
what are your views on, speaking of like the internet, what are your views on the push for a lot more AI?
Oh, well, I'm pretty sure that's going on with AI, especially in the regard to robots. There are planets. See, Earth is the only one that has an organic outer dimension like we have here. It's the only one. Um, and that was because, when Maldek blew up, I mentioned it blew up 2.5 billion years ago because of the static. Well, one of its moons flew out and hit Earth, and that caused it to drop from, 12-point crystalline, or sorry, 7-point crystalline down to 2-point dross, two DNA dross. And then 1,000 years ago, there was an evolution started on its surface to bring it back up to crystalline, and we're almost finished there. I mean, that's a project that's just about finished. So the life that's on the surface of the planet, the trees and the animals and stuff, that was all put there to raise Earth's frequency back up. But 3.5 million years ago, the Luciferians taught the Adamic root race that were in the fifth dimension to come down into the third dimension, basically to party. Said, well, the frequencies of it are very enjoyable, and they fell for it, and man's been tied up in the third dimension ever since. This is 3.5 million years ago. Well, in this Aquarian cycle that we're in right now, that's all coming to an end. At the end of this Aquarius, everybody will be back up in the fifth, and there won't be any third dimension on, the flora, fauna, man, all of that will all be gone. Earth will just be back to what it was originally, you know, now, the AI units, there are some of those 2,500 planets that are gaseous, others that are, in crystalline form, and so on. And the AI units are being raised up to be able to house consciousness, to be able to do the same kind of transformation that's going on here on those planets down the road. Now, that's a very tricky deal because it can get out of hand pretty quick. But
Yeah,
that's,
there are several ways that that can go
yeah.
wrong.
I, I,
But I'm not going to get into that right now. We're gonna stick on the radionic ships. That was a side
by
note.
the
Let's
way,
stick on the
I have a
radionic
little
ships.
joke about robots. There's going to be two types. One will have a nucleonic brain, the other will have a positronic brain, and they're not going to be able to talk to each other. So anyway, just thought I'd
They're gonna
throw
have
that
a
out there.
say again.
Well, geez, my camera keeps sliding on me. All right. So, well, I said there's going to be robots with nucleonic brains and robots with positronic brains, and they're not going to be able to talk to each other. Ha ha.
Hmm.
Anyway,
No, it's
so back to the radionic ships. Basically, that's it in a nutshell. They're here in larger quantity to, uh, Earth is getting the lysol. Like I say, Earth right now is the first of the 2,500 to be completely cleaned up and returned back to fifth dimensional purity. Um, so when that's done, the radionic ships have been around biblically, like they were in small number in those days. But it was in 2016, April 20th of 2016, the door opened and they came in a huge quantity at the time. So the number around Earth enormously increased. And then I guess it was 2019 or September of 2020, one or the other, an enormous fleet of Pleiadians came in as adjunct to help. And the portals opened on the side of the sun. The government's closed down all 6 solar observatories on the pretense that they found porno on the laptops. But they didn't get off scot-free because a lady down in Illinois with a backyard telescope caught the photo with the portal that had opened on the side of the sun. And then, of course, that sort of upped the ante a huge amount, and that's where we are right now. So
So you
now,
said that there was a portal that was open on the side of the sun.
yeah.
Mm.
Well, here's the thing. We've been talking about the book Radionic Ships of the Heavenly Hosts, but there is
Mm-hmm.
also one called PleiadianFleet.com. It's not anywhere near as big, but it shows the portals on the side of the sun. It shows the ships that have come through. You as I say, she caught it, the photo, and put it up on RINs. Well, I had seen the portals open up on the sun about 4 or 5 days before, and I was watching the progress, and all of a sudden this huge fleet off the limb of the sun. What do you know? So I knew exactly what they were, and ironically enough, some of the shapes of the ships that are in that, the side of the sun, um, I have photographs here on Earth with those same ships in them. Just only they're now down in a condensed form. So, but it was the same ships.
Yeah, I definitely know for a fact that portals are real. They are a thing. There's certainly I have quite a few things
Yeah.
recorded and
Well,
documented
it's
myself.
it's called the PleiadianFleet.com. And that's, I mean, there's some really surprising things in there, but it shows the portal on the sun, which I recognized when I saw them. I said, those are radionic ship portals. And then the next thing you know, there was the ships all out on the side of the sun when they closed down the observatories. And well,
Hmm.
what do you know? See, so
And you why now what's the big why would they go ahead and close down the observatory? Why they don't want people to see it?
what's the what?
Why would they close down the observatory? They
Oh
don't
yeah,
want.
well, I mean, don't forget these guys have been denying the existence of anybody in a higher dimension since day one, you know,
Mhm.
flat out denying it. Well, all of a sudden you've got all this shit sitting off the side of the sun. Whoa, whoa. We don't want them to see that. Well, as I say, the cat got out of the bag because she photographed it, put it up on Rens.com. I happened to go there that morning. I said, wait a minute, I know what those are. So it's called the PleiadianFleet.com. It's an agent, to the radionic ships. Um, the reason we're doing this interview about the radionic ships, Marie mentioned last interview that she put up a GoFundMe campaign to raise money to have the books um, printed, published. And I said books because the radionic ship is one of three the 3 book set called the Revelatorium. The first book is the Intelligent Design and Creation. In other words, it's the plan that all of creation has been based on, the rules. The second is the Revelatorium of Alpha and Omega, which is applications of the intelligent design into like the dimensions, soulmates, um, you know, all these different factors, that the law applies to. And then So the Revelatorium explains how that works. And then the third book, of course, is the radionic ships of the heavenly host, which is the one we're mainly interested in. And she has a GoFundMe campaign. Do you have the link posted or?
It is in the description below. You guys can go down there and
Yeah.
click the link
Now,
and donate what you would like.
even a dime would help, because I'm running the whole show as it exists so far on old age pension. And I've done that by not going to bars and not going on holidays and not buying a big car. And, I borrow a friend's car when I need it. So I'm nickel and diming it all the way. And I call it flipping dimes, as a quart of milk or a loaf of bread. Heads
Hmm.
it's milk and tails it's bread. I'm doing that. So
Yeah.
even any amount you could put in on that would be hugely appreciated. So
Yes, guys, that is, we are energy and we give energy, and it'd be great if you guys can give some back by donating, which you can, to the cause of producing these books in
yeah,
large
if they're published, see right now the books are available on Amazon. That's where that's where Marie got her 3 copies. But uh, Amazon prints on demand. In other words, you order a book, they print it, but it's printed on a laser printer. They're all in full color. Every page is in full color. So the cost is astronomical, as it were. Like the Radionic Ship book, which is 450 pages, is over $80 on Amazon, and I make peanuts. Just a small token royalty out of that. And so the name of the game isn't the royalty. It's to if it's printed offset, they can go out for sale at $29, which I think is a good price for this type of information. If I sell it cheaper, then it doesn't have a inherent value. If I sell it too much, it goes back to, well, that's too expensive for me. But $29.95 is something most people can afford. So that's my target. But
I agree.
uh,
I agree. Yeah, that's a good median price. I would agree. And that is a high uh cost to get it pushed through. So basically you're saying if somebody went to go order it now on Amazon, it would cost $80 to produce that book.
yeah. Now the other 2 books are about 49 or $50, which is still too high. But if they're printed
Yeah.
by offset, like 5,000 copies at a time or something, the price can go out at $29.95, which I think is a good price for the books. All 3 of them could all sell for 29, and I could sell all 3 for say $69 or something like that. And that's a reasonable purchase, especially in a computer in a bookstore. They would compete really well on the shelf at a bookstore. Right now, there's no way, you know.
Yeah, no, for sure. I think that's reasonable. So yes, ladies and
So
gentlemen, if you
it's a
could.
fairly important GoFundMe, actually, all things considered. It's not just
Yeah,
for me, it's
I would agree, especially right now with everything that's going on in the sky. We have what the media is pushing for us to look at when it comes down to what's going on in the sky, but there's other things. And the radionic ship of the heavenly host, you wouldn't even know to look for it if you didn't have these
yeah,
books
well,
and this
most
insight.
people are totally
So
oblivious. I mean, absolutely and totally oblivious. I'd say right now there's only a couple of thousand people on the whole planet that know about the radionic ships because they come in through the website and so on. Um, but as a mass population, see they were completely oblivious to them during the they called it glory in the sky in the Bible. There was glory in the sky. Well, if you look at one of these things, the photographs don't do them justice because they fill the whole sky. You know, lines this way, lines that way, and the whole sky is full of and it's glory in the sky. There's no doubt about it. But that's what the Bible described them as, glory in the sky. But it didn't explain what they were. They had no idea. So
well,
now
yeah.
Christ did. Christ, I'm pretty sure uh, he I'm absolutely for sure he would have mentioned the heavenly host is not angels plucking harps, you know. But the Bible that we see today has been completely censored.
You said
Everybody
Spencer?
knows that. It's censored, it's it's been written in a form to keep mankind from expanding in consciousness to continue to be under the thumb of the old beliefs. Um, so anything about the radionic ships that was in the original stuff would have been written out.
Yeah, yeah. A lot of things were written out and are skipped
I mean, I'm
over
pretty
when,
sure they were sitting out there on the hillside and 2, 3 thousand people at his feet and so, and he'd just point up and say, "Take a look." You know,
yeah. There was a lot of things that were either removed or just not talked about when it comes down
yeah,
to the Bible.
yeah,
That's just a fact of the matter. That in this wonderful, wonderful age of truth, more and more people are recognizing all of the truth from
yeah,
top to
yeah,
bottom.
yeah.
There's a
Well, it's
lot.
it's the radionic ships themselves that made the revelation. Somebody didn't come along and say, "Oh, I know what those are." There was an attunement in consciousness that say, "Here we are. This is what we are. We want you to put it out there." That's how this all came about.
Yeah, for
It
sure.
was
And I know
they,
that I know that for me personally, it's one of my responsibilities to let as many people as I know, as many people as I can know about the presence of the radionic ships of the heavenly hosts, just simply because I know the significance in my personal journey spiritually and how that could be of maybe assistance or significance to another person's journey as well. And I think that it's great to acknowledge what's in our skies,
if I'm not
especially if,
mistaken, I was going to say, if I'm not mistaken, you have some photographs that you've taken of radionic ships.
yes, on my community page, on my page, guys, in the community tab, you can go and look at an example of a radionic ship of a heavenly host that I had right
Now, of
outside of
course,
my
you
balcony.
you can go to the website radionicships.com and see 450 samples, but yours are pretty good. The couple that I've seen, you know,
Yes,
look pretty good.
yes. Yes, so definitely check out some photos and then, we can donate to the fundraiser and then get your book so
Yeah.
that you can
And the thing about it
have
too,
a
you could step outside on any given day and there's one, and the next day there isn't. But it's not like they're only in Europe or they're only in North America or they're day and night, because if you go out at night and the moon is lit, you can see radionic clouds just as the same as during the day, except they're not very clear. You know, they're 24 hours a day. I mean, this is around the earth all the time, every time. So
Yes, yes.
I,
Well, I
I've
think
I've even got a photograph in the book that's from the Arctic.
oh wow, really?
Yeah, which I was happy to see that one because the farther afield I got some from New Zealand, some from Scottish border in England. I mean, all over the place. But I got one from the Arctic, and I kind of like that. You know.
Nice, nice.
So,
Awesome, awesome. Well, I think that this was a good segment for part two, discussing the radionic shifts of the heavenly host. And I thank you again for your
yeah.
time and your energy with us going over this. And folks, if you think that, the drones or the orbs are cool, try to catch a radionic ship of a heavenly host and see what that looks like in real life. So again, folks, look up. Don't forget to look up. And I thank you again, Delstar, for short. I thank
Oh
you for
yeah,
your
and I,
time.
and I got and don't forget to, even $10 helps. I mean, anything you can put in there helps. It accumulates. So
Correct. Correct. Yes, guys. Donate, donate, donate to the GoFundMe to get these books going to help him out here with the production costs. We appreciate everything that you do. And until next time, be safe, take care, Ashe.
yeah. See you. Thank you.
I hope you enjoyed that round two with Mr. Delahnnovahh Starr Livingstone of Uvera. Until next time, be safe, take care, Ashe.